Hey game makers! Welcome to the first Gaia's Melody to Echoed Memories DevLog! Woo! You might have noticed I've been posting some snippets of, random clips and features and tests of things. So in these devlog videos, I want to kind of go over what I'm doing and kind of how I'm doing them, how the progress is going, and other cool things that didn't quite need to make it into videos. But before I begin, the first thing I want to talk about is something that might actually be useful to you. Recently, I've had the fun, joyous experience of having my project's hard drive crash. Basically, my main project's drive, Misa, is no longer with us. It was getting old, kind of got corrupted, and but luckily I'm crazy about backups because I've had things like this happen before, so all of my important stuff is safe. So thank goodness for that. But I just wanted to mention a nice little phrase that for anyone who does any sort of creative stuff on their computer should kind of live by, I guess. I think it was something along the lines of, if it doesn't exist in 3 places, it doesn't exist. So basically, what I generally do is I have my main copy, I have another one backed up on a separate hard drive, and usually I prefer to have some sort of offsite copy. I usually keep a copy on another one of my computers, and at the moment I also am using OneDrive to do backups, so just to be on the safe side. Now, even better, in addition to this, for whatever reason, the town I live in experiences insane amounts of power outages. Like, we've had 2 in the past week or 2, and that's just ridiculous. And they're like, not, okay, we do get a lot of the short little ones, but they're like long, and I don't have a power backup yet because I'm an insane person. But I've noticed in the past, I'm not sure if this is fixed yet or not, but MV, if the game crashes while you're in test play mode, it will essentially corrupt the map you're on, from my experience. And I don't know if it's fixed. It doesn't seem to apply for just EXE mode, but I did have this in test mode. So what I've been doing to negate this is I actually have a batch file set up. My names are amazing, whatever.bat, that works with source tree. So basically, when I click this little button down here, it makes a backup of all of my data files in case, I go into test play and then the power outages, which has happened before, which isn't fun. So it's pretty easy to set up. I definitely recommend doing something to that effect. Basically what I've been doing is every time I make a change, after I save, I make a backup of it. And source tree sort of saves the changes to in the files, so it's really easy and really convenient. So I would definitely recommend doing that in the event your hard drive fails and everything wants to be corrupted and die. Now to my actual game progress. I'm not really sure the best order to go over this kind of stuff, so I'm just gonna go over with whatever comes to mind first. Basically, as far as graphics go, I wanted to have a bunch of them made up before I kinda got to working on anything, which is really easy to do since it's a remake and I kind of have more or less an idea of what I'm actually gonna need. So, at the moment, I basically have everyone's costumes done, literally everyone. Oh my gosh, that took so long, there were so many of these. So everyone's costumes are done. I also have a good start to the character art. Now, these might look a bit different than the ones I showed off in the break time tests, because I actually kind of added a glow effect to them. And I think it actually looks really cool, so I'm probably going to keep it. I have backups in case I end up not liking it or it starts bugging out my eyes or something. But I have that on everyone, and oh my god, there are so many mouth flaps. There are like... I forget the exact amount. I think I have about 1,000 character poses, because the way I'm doing it for this game is I actually have each pose, and then pay no attention to these ones. I'm actually going to change that to a paper doll system once I get around to figuring out how to write it. Yay. So there aren't quite as many as this, but I'm basically doing each pose and then each face for each pose. Now, I could have done them on a separate thing, but I don't think it's really necessary. I think this will work fine. Then I'd have to rotate their faces and place them on their own, and that's just a pain in the butt. So we're doing it this way. It ends up being about, for now anyway, about 1,000 in total for all of my characters. Which ends up to 3 frames per mouth flap for each thing, so that's only 4,000 mouth flaps. Oh my god, never again. Have you ever animated 4,000 mouth flaps in, like, any amount of time? These took me, like, a week, just pretty much straight doing mouth flaps. And then I had to go and modify them all because, you know, you have to fix things. So in terms of graphics, the characters and the pictures are pretty much, quote-unquote, pretty much all done. I'm working on the battlers at the moment. They're, this is time-consuming. And then I'm just doing maps as I go, because since it's the same basic graphic style as the other game, I can pretty much just pull resources from that one, and it's glorious. You'd think it'd be less time-consuming, but it kind of is, I guess, because I don't have to make everything, but... Another thing I've been working on, since we're still kind of stuck in New Terra, the first town in the game. As far as plot goes, I'm at the point where we get to leave here and actually go on to the next area, but that's all I have. I got trumped with having to work on the battle system, so we're doing that right now. But I've been working a lot on core features and trying to get as many of them implemented now as I can, because I hate adding things later because everything just breaks. Some of the stuff I've been working on is the title screen, which will change. It will. Right now I have it set up to randomly show one of 2 images and then play a video behind it, on it, part of it. And it's actually interesting how I'm doing this is we wrote a plugin that lets me modify the size and location of a video so it doesn't just automatically zoom to the entire screen, which I think is really neat. I actually originally wanted to use that as a test for Mode 7 because there's a scene, 2 scenes actually, halfway through the game and a little near the end, where you get in this nice little Mode 7 theater sort of thing. So everything's all Mode 7, and I didn't know how I was gonna do that, because to my understanding, there's only one Mode 7 plugin, which I'm not sure if I'm going to use. I have to contact the creator about that. But my other idea, in case I couldn't, was to do the entire thing in 3D, pseudo 3D. I'm still gonna be using sprites, but just have the backgrounds as 3D, and then just record it as a video clip, and then throw it in here. My idea for that originally was, okay, well, I'll have the text as game, I'll have it pause at the end of the video, like have each individual section as its own video clip, and then have the text at the bottom, because I can't normally have text over the message thing. Since I'm doing voice acting now, that isn't as much of a concern, because it can just be voice acted. Like, I could do the whole thing as an anime clip if I wanted to, but that sounds like so much extra work. We'll see, though. But that was the idea behind this, and it's nice because I can do things like this, have it just turn off the video and resume. Same thing if I wanted to play other things, I can just have them, I can basically use any size of video I want and place it pretty much anywhere, which is really, really neat. But that's enough of that digressing. Another thing that I've had that I showed off in those videos was the break times, actually. Oh, you know what? If I try to load this, it's gonna hang. Let's try it anyway. Basically, I have so many sound clips on this map that if I preload the sound clips, my preloader crashes. And I'm assuming I probably have the preloader off at this point. But, not doodads. This one. Scripts, switch. Debug. Oh yeah, I can't just click it. I'm used to, the doodads thing now. Sure. Now, let's talk about break times, because I'm actually really fond of how these turned out. I have them all done, all like 50-ish of them, and these are all voice acted, and there's, if I try to if I try to load this map with my preloader set to the preload voice clips, it crashes, so there are a lot of these. But I'm actually really fond of how these turned out, and the way I'm doing them now is I still wanted to have them all set on one map, so I didn't have to try to do any weird snazzy common event stuff because you can't preload common events, and I didn't want to have them all on the map they're actually intended on because that just causes a whole lot of other problems. So what we ended up doing is basically it gets called through a common event here. Break time? Here we go. So it brings up the little bleepy doo. Then you can select it. And what I'm actually doing is using Galv's spawn plugin to kind of bring the event to the current map that I'm on. And I'm also using a script that Sally and Ifo wrote for me, because he's amazing, that actually preloads the event beforehand. So while the thing is working, while it's bringing it to the current map, it's preloading everything, so I don't have to worry about graphics flashing in and out, which is really nice because that drives me insane. And the nice thing about the break times is you can actually toggle the voice clips on and off without having to do any extra work in the event window. So normally what you'd have to do is some sort of conditional branch nonsense where you're like, if voice clips are on is on, then play voice clips. And that just gets a huge pain in the butt because there's just so much extra stuff going on. So we actually just ended up writing a script that basically says if the file name ends with _v, then if the voice acting switch is off, don't play the voice acting clip. If it's on, you can play it, and it only affects the ones that are indicated with _v. So that was nice. Additionally, the voice clips also are synced to the mouth movements as opposed to the mouth movements being synced to the actual text, because I don't think I need to tell you, it kind of looks silly when you've got audio playing and the mouth flaps just go as far as the text, and then the character's still talking, and it just looks ridiculous.
Probably try to find us. So these are all done, and
oh my gosh, I hate, where is it? Actually, it's probably one of these ones. Okay, so there are points in games when the player gets to choose the party member, and usually I don't have break times for those, except one time I do, which is the entire end dungeon. So I had to, do all of these scenes with every single character, and it was just like, why am I reading the same dialogue over and over again? I was not impressed. But, that's done, and I never have to look at that again, and I am so happy about it. Now, this isn't to say that this is all the break times they're going to be. I very more than likely will add in more, but these are the ones from the game with some minor text rewrites in them, so they're all done, and I'm happy about that. Another thing I want to talk about is the mini-map, actually, because I'm using a plugin this time around. Here. Also, now when you get things for the first time, it gives you a little blurb about what they can do, which you can turn off in the menu, because why not? But, so the mini-map, this is going to take a second to load, because at the moment it's trying to load a 5,000 by probably 3,000 picture, and that's just silly. But, the way we're doing it now is a plugin, and we can still turn on and off the mini-map stuff. We can turn on plot icons, and it'll tell me a little thing. And tell me where to go, and, all that nice fun stuff. This plugin did not want to work for me, and I'm assuming it's just, incompatible with the current version of MV. At least, based on the glitches I was getting, that seems to be the case. But it just did not want to work, and it was missing some logic, let's say, because let's say you're in the middle of a cutscene, you wouldn't normally want to open the plugin, or the mini-map, because this has a biggie map. Oh wow, that gets really blurry. That's fine though. I think I can change the scaling for that. But, so what was happening was I'd like open my menu and be able to just open my mini-map. So I had to go in and fix some stuff with that, but it works for the most part now, and I'm quite happy with it. Still a few things I need to modify, but we're getting there. So I only have one mini-map to play with. I'm not sure how it's gonna work for everything so far. Guy, get out of my, hey! Jerk. So, that's that. But that's the mini-map so far. As you might have noticed from me running around, we're also working on followers, but as you can see, they're kind of dumb right now. Hi. Can you just join the part? There you go. Yeah, my followers have the dumb. They, basically, in the original GM2, I was using a script that would space out my characters similar to how Chrono Trigger does that. Their followers, their caterpillar script sort of thing, where they follow you at a distance, but then catch up to you once you stop. For the most. But can you guys not get stuck? My option was basically have them get stuck on everything, or have them walk through everything, so I mean. Well, we're still working on that. We'll get something that's a bit better than this, but this is where it's at so far. I think it's pretty neat though, still. I quite like it, because it makes the characters feel like not statically following right behind you and breathing down your neck, I guess. But it's really easy to get them trapped. Tara, come on, just this way. No, just. There you go. And based on MB's follower logic, which is the biggest part we're having trouble with, because we basically have to rewrite the entire thing, because the way it works is they follow each other, the followers follow each other, not necessarily the player, which is fine until you get character 2 stuck behind here. Okay, that didn't quite work. But in any case, character 4 is only going to follow character 3, which means even if I go like, hey, I'm over here, they still want to get stuck. What is wrong with you people? But you can see how that kind of still needs some work, but that's where that's at. That's not an immediate thing, and it kind of breaks Gather right now, but we can fix that. It's not going to be an issue. As far as stuff I'm currently doing, I'm working on the battle system, which I'll show some snippets of at some point soon. It's actually looking really cool, and I'm quite happy with how it's turning out. That includes, like, the battle backgrounds, the layout. It will include all of my placeholder data getting actual data at some point. I was working on the menu also, which still needs some work, but it's getting there. It's just some rearranging, I think, that I have left to do. And monsters, my favorite part of any game. I don't mind doing monsters, but it's like not my favorite part. So I'll have to come up with some monster designs that are cool. And that should be fun. But that's probably next on my list after I finish all 13 of the protagonists. Oh my gosh, so many. Next game's having 4 characters, swear to goodness. Okay, that was a lot of info. So I think that's pretty much it for now. As you might have noticed, this video was very, unscripted. So if you like this kind of video, feel free to let me know in the comments, because as I'm recording this, I'm realizing it probably would have taken me this exact same amount of time to write a video script for it. So, we'll see. Anyway, with any luck, I'll be posting these devlogs monthly and posting a bunch of snippets in between. So at the end of each month, you should expect a devlog of some sort to be up. And I'll be posting snippets in between, because hype! Okay, that's enough of me being insane. Oh, and I'll also be posting early clips and video stuffs and infos about the game over on my Patreon. I don't really like being all, hey, go check out my Patreon. I actually hate it when YouTubers do that. It's just a little pet peeve of mine. But if you are at all interested in the goings-on of this project, I will be posting stuff there if you're interested. But anyway, I think that's all for now. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you later, gamers!